Welcome back to Reddit Echoes, the channel where the most genuine real-life stories from Reddit forums are retold with a natural, heartfelt narration, sometimes sprinkled with wit and humor. Each story we share is not just a personal experience, but also a deep slice of life, revealing conflicts, challenges, and unforgettable moments of the human journey. Today, we will hear stories filled with a full spectrum of emotions, from heartbreak and anger to humor, surprise, and intense confrontations that will keep you glued to the screen. So sit back, relax, and get ready for a truly emotional journey. Story 1. I was sued for age discrimination because I refused to date a 45-year-old man. Here's my true story. Hello, everyone. I'm a 20-year-old woman, and today I want to share with you what might be the craziest story of my life. It's not just an ordinary dating story. It led me into a complicated lawsuit just because I refused to date a man nearly 20 years older than me. Sounds unbelievable, right? But it's true, and I'll tell you all the details. Meeting a 45-year-old man on a dating app. The story began on a dating app called Plenty of Fish. Like many young people, I wanted to find someone to chat with, get to know, and maybe start a serious relationship if lucky. One day I got a message from a guy claiming to be 30 years old, polite, and easy to talk to. After chatting for a while, I decided to meet him in person to see how he was in real life. So one nice evening, I went to the restaurant for our date. I arrived a bit early, waiting anxiously. When he walked in, I was a little shocked. He looked much older than the photos on his profile. I estimated he was about 45, not 30, like he said. I was confused, but didn't want to cause a scene on the first meeting. I sat down and gently asked, "You told me you're 30, but I think you look much older. Can you explain?" He forced a smile and said the pictures were old, maybe an error in his age on the app. Must be a technical glitch. "I'm actually 30. I felt uncomfortable, but politely told him I wasn't interested in dating someone so much older. Nearly 20 years age gap was difficult for me. I wished him luck. Tense confrontation at the restaurant. Suddenly, he changed his tone, his voice getting louder. He insisted I stay and eat because he'd already ordered food. Feeling pressured and a bit scared, I called the bartender to explain the situation. Fortunately, the manager stepped in, followed me outside, and made sure he didn't chase after or cause trouble. I went home feeling heavy-hearted and didn't think much of it, just a failed first date. The unexpected lawsuit, age discrimination. Months later at work, I received legal papers notifying me that I was being sued. The man was demanding compensation for the dinner and travel expenses, claiming I had discriminated against him because of his age when refusing to date him, which he said violated the law. I called the lawyer listed and couldn't believe it was real. I was completely baffled and worried. I had student loans to pay, money was tight, and hiring a lawyer seemed beyond my means. I knew the lawsuit had no grounds. Obviously, no one can force someone to date based on age. Otherwise, every 18-year-old girl would be sued by older men for rejecting them. It sounded like a bad joke. Mixed emotions and pressure. During the lawsuit, when I got the lawsuit papers, I panicked. I didn't know how to defend myself against such a ridiculous claim. My friends told me to hire a lawyer, but I worried about the cost. I thought about representing myself, but feared being easily beaten by the opposing lawyer. Those days, I lost sleep, anxious about my future, worried about huge fines or damage to my reputation and career. I felt publicly exposed just over a personal issue. Reactions from the online community and family. I shared my story online and got mixed responses. Some supported me, calling it a ridiculous lawsuit. Others questioned whether I had clearly stated my age preferences or if something else was going on. My family was worried, always checking in and encouraging me, but they couldn't understand how such a small thing could escalate to a lawsuit. Reflections and lessons. Learned from this experience, I realized that in modern society, although we have the right to make personal choices in relationships, sometimes those rights aren't respected. I also learned that sometimes you have to fight for your rights, and courageously stand up even when it's hard. I hope anyone facing similar situations won't hesitate to seek legal help and never let themselves be pressured or threatened. Conclusion. The lawsuit is still ongoing, but I'm proud to have stood my ground. Despite the challenges, I don't regret speaking the truth and defending myself. If you liked my story, don't forget to like and subscribe to follow more true Reddit stories. Thanks for listening. Story 2. He was obsessed with his D&D friend while I was alone and pregnant. I'm a 16-year-old girl, and the story I want to share today is an experience I can never forget, a painful, heartbreaking, and deeply betraying memory. I used to think I was so lucky. At first, I thought I was the luckiest girl in the world. You know that Disney movie, kind of love, sweet, warm, and full of romance? My husband and I once thought everything would be perfect. I still remember the days we planned our future, laughed, dated, and then I found out I was pregnant. I was so happy I cried. It was the result of true love. I thought he would share that joy, be my support, and be my partner on this journey of parenthood. But then things started to change. When I told him the good news, he smiled, but the smile didn't reach his eyes. I began to notice the changes. He spent less time with me, the sweet hugs and gentle words faded away. Instead, he had long evenings playing Dungeons and Dragons with his group, a game he was obsessed with. In that group, there was only one girl, Natalie. Natalie wasn't just a normal gaming friend. I felt she was getting more of his attention than anyone else, even me. He started coming home later, and his promises sounded hollow. Feeling abandoned and lonely, I felt so alone. As my belly grew bigger, the baby's kicks reminded him of his responsibility. But what about him? He spent less and less time with me. When I was in pain, hoping for a warm hand to rub my belly, a simple, "Are you hungry?" He was across the room, absorbed in his phone and endless chats with Natalie. One night he promised he'd be home by 10 p.m. I stayed awake until 11:30 p.m. and still didn't see him. When I called, I only got a message. "Go to sleep, we're finishing the D&D campaign." I lay there, tears quietly falling, the baby kicking steadily as if comforting me. Discovering messages and feeling betrayed, I started looking through the messages between him and Natalie. There was no "I love you," no promises or vows, but phrases like, "You're the only one who understands me, and I wish I were sitting next to you instead of listening to her complain about morning sickness." Her, that's me. But in his eyes, I was just a burden. I couldn't believe it, and wondered if I was overreacting. But when you start to feel like you no longer matter to the person you once loved most, it's no longer imagination. It's a harsh reality. Confrontation and lies. I decided to confront him. "What's going on between you and Natalie?" I asked directly. He responded indifferently, "Here we go again. Don't make a big deal out of it." I said, "This isn't the beginning. It feels like the end." He called me jealous and blamed my mood swings on hormones, said I was imagining things. But his eyes, his avoidance of my gaze, said it all. The day of birth and the final betrayal. When I gave birth, he was late. I remember the agonizing pains, contractions that nearly took my breath away. And him, a message, "Traffic jam, will be there soon." I knew he wasn't stuck in traffic. He was at Natalie's house. His mother accidentally revealed it. He said he had to stop by Natalie's to get some stuff before coming. Unbelievable. Natalie called me not to apologize or check on me, but to ask if he made it to the delivery room on time. I laughed. A bitter, weary laugh. Decision to leave. When my baby was 1 month old, I decided to leave. No drama, no long explanations. I went back to live with my mom. I knew I deserved more happiness than this. His final response. He sent me one message. "Natalie is not what you think. She's just a friend." I didn't reply. Because when a man lets someone else take the time, attention, and heart he should give his family, the word friend loses all meaning. A message to those in similar situations. If you've ever been abandoned or forgotten by someone you trusted the most, you're not alone. You have the right to be loved and respected. True love doesn't force you to fight for a place in someone's heart. Love is an unconditional gift, not a battlefield. Closing. Thank you for listening to my story. If you've experienced similar pain, share it so we can be stronger together. And don't forget to subscribe for more true Reddit stories. Story 3. I almost lost my boyfriend because I suggested going to a strip club. I'm a 24-year-old woman, and the story I'm about to tell is one of the most classic moments where I basically dug my own grave. Everything started from an idea that I thought was very cool and trendy, going with my boyfriend to a strip club. Planning the trip to Las Vegas. Here's how it went. My boyfriend, let's call him Jake, had just been promoted at work, and I'd just finished a big project. We decided to treat ourselves to a weekend getaway to relax and rekindle our relationship. We chose Las Vegas, the place where everyone jokes that all disasters begin. But at that time, I didn't think anything negative at all. The idea of going to a strip club. On the second night in Vegas, I felt like the fun girlfriend always ready to try new things. So I suggested to Jake, how about we go to a strip club? Just for the experience. He looked at me like I was speaking Klingon. Are you serious? Of course. I'll be with you. What's there to worry about? I thought I deserved an Oscar for the role of the understanding girlfriend in the whole world. The experience at the strip club. The club was glowing red with lights, bass music, pounding, the smell of cheap perfume mixed with sweat, a scent that now just makes me want to run away. I was sipping my cocktail, laughing at the dancing on the poles. Everything seemed fine until one of the dancers approached Jake. She lightly placed her hand on his thigh and whispered, "Want a private dance, baby?" Jake looked at me, waiting for my reaction, and in a moment of utter foolishness, I nodded. That 10-second nod, I regret for life. Jake disappeared into the VIP room with that dancer for about 20 minutes. I sat alone, finishing one cocktail after another, repeating in my head I suggested it. Don't get jealous. Don't get jealous. Don't get jealous. He came back. His face, red eyes, sparkling like he just watched a steamy romance movie starring a woman's butt. You okay? He asked. I forced a smile, smiling like a lifeless doll. The fallout after the trip. The next day, I couldn't keep quiet anymore. So you really like her, huh? I asked straight up. What, he looked confused. The dancer from last night. But you were the one who suggested it. Oh my God, I felt like I'd just become the bachelor party planner for my own boyfriend. The relationship crack and hard lesson. The following month, our relationship slowly cracked. He felt guilty but didn't understand why I was so upset. I kept replaying the image of that dancer stuck on Jake like super glue in my head, like a nightmare. Then one day I was talking to my best friend Lily, telling her everything. And you know what Lily said, girl? You're the dumbest person I've ever known. What I mean? You threw your boyfriend into the pit, then got mad at him for getting dirty. Seriously? That woke me right up. The honest talk and forgiveness I called Jake. We sat down and had a heart-to-heart conversation for the first time in weeks. I'm sorry, I said. For what I thought I was cool, but really I was just an insecure girl trying to play big. I thought you were going to break up with me over this. I almost did. But then I remembered. I was the one who started it. We're not perfect, but at least after that strip club night, we learned to be honest with ourselves. I no longer pretended to be the jealous-free girlfriend. Jake no longer pretended not to know what was really going on. We became more open, more honest. And later, after we got married, we even shared that story at our wedding as a silly, twisted moment of our lives. And you know what? The guests laughed like crazy. The takeaway. Never think you have to be the perfect girlfriend by ignoring your jealousy. That instinct exists to protect you from the bad choices you yourself make. And if you ever go to a strip club, make sure you don't leave your heart in the VIP room. Story 4. I refused to be a bridesmaid because the bride bullied me throughout school. I'm not someone who holds grudges. Honestly, I'm not. I've always believed that forgiveness is strength and everyone deserves a chance to change. But the story I'm about to tell is an exception, a situation I couldn't overlook or pretend to forget. My dark past with Amanda, the future bride. Her name is Amanda. If you ever went to high school with me, you'd instantly recognize this name. She's someone everyone feared. Amanda was the star homecoming queen, cheerleading captain adored by teachers. But behind that perfect exterior was a cruel person who specialized in bullying and ruining those she disliked. Me, with my thick glasses, messy hair, and hand-knitted sweaters from my grandma, was the perfect target for her bullying. I became the enemy in Amanda's personal drama. Years of endurance and pain. I vividly remember the first day she noticed me. I was just walking into the classroom wearing a thick cardigan when Amanda blocked my way. "Has anyone ever told you that you look like a cat kidnapper?" The whole class burst out laughing, and I just stood there, blushing and confused. From then on, I became the subject of countless dirty tricks, having shaving cream stuffed into my backpack, being labeled a loser on social media, even once having a loser sign stuck on my back without me knowing, carrying it all day at school. Those years were filled with fear, loneliness, and suffering. A new life and what I thought was forgetting it. All after graduating, I left that small town and started a new, free and peaceful life. I thought I had left behind all the pain and sad memories. I focused on work, building new relationships, and gradually forgot the dark past. The unexpected bridesmaid invitation. One day I received a message from Amanda. "Hey girl, long time no see. I'm getting married, want to be one of my bridesmaids. It'd be so great to have all my girls together again." I had to read that message 3 times. I couldn't believe my eyes. The same person who tormented me for 7 years now wanted me to stand beside her on her big day. I felt overwhelmed and dizzy. Anger and the decision to refuse. After many sleepless nights thinking it over, I decided to reply. I wrote an honest message: "Amanda, thanks for the invitation, but I can't accept. I haven't forgotten what you did to me all those years in school. Those wounds don't disappear just because of an invitation. I hope your wedding is wonderful with people who truly were your sweet school friends." I hit send and felt strangely relieved. Amanda's fierce reaction and the drama spiral. Just a few hours later, Amanda posted a Facebook status, sad that some people can't let go of the past. "We've all grown up. Surely my wedding won't have cheap drama queens." My message was exposed, and I was called a drama queen and a troublemaker. Many former classmates started sending messages like, "Why do you hate Amanda so much? Don't be so bitter. It's just high school stuff, isn't it?" I didn't reply. Because if you haven't experienced that pain, it's hard to understand. Closing and personal growth. I don't regret my decision. I learned that forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting everything, and you don't always have to be the mature adult who pretends the painful past never happened. On Amanda's wedding day, I chose to spend time on myself, enjoying better things in life. I have become a different person, stronger, and someone who knows how to love herself. A message to those who have been bullied. If you have ever been a victim of bullying or hurt, remember you're not alone. You have the right to protect yourself and say no to those who disrespect you. And most importantly, you have the right to choose your own happiness. Story 5. I refused to pay for dinner for the whole group and got cut off for being cheap. I'm a 27-year-old woman, and the story I'm about to share is about a fateful evening when I decided not to go along with my old friend's group. And as a result, I was shunned, called cheap, and lost the whole friend circle. A seemingly normal invitation. It all started when an old friend named Kelly sent a message in our university friends group chat. "Hey everyone, let's have dinner this weekend. Fancy Oak Saturday at 7 p.m. Hit like if you're coming. There were 9 of us in total, old classmates, but we hadn't seen each other in a while since everyone went different ways. Some got married, some moved abroad, some busy with work. I'm not really into fancy dining, but thought it would be nice to catch up, so I agreed. The fateful night at the fancy restaurant. That night I arrived at Fancy Oak, a beautifully decorated place with candlelight flickering and waiters dressed sharply in suits. Our group ordered a lot: wine, appetizers, imported grilled beef, luxurious desserts. I only ordered a plate of mushroom pasta and a glass of water since I was saving money for an upcoming trip. The argument over, splitting the bill. When the waiter asked one bill or separate, Kelly immediately said, "One bill, please. Let's split evenly, makes it easier." I chuckled softly. "Are you kidding?" We ordered very differently. Everyone nodded in agreement, looking at me expectantly. I honestly said others ordered expensive dishes. Some drank wine that costs nearly $100 a bottle, but I only ordered this one dish. Splitting evenly doesn't seem fair. The atmosphere suddenly fell silent. Kelly snapped, "You seriously want to count every penny? So cheap." Jessica, who often posts "Be kind, always" quotes on Facebook, suddenly raised her voice. "You only think about yourself." A guy I barely talk to also chimed in, "You're selfish and don't value friendship." My firm stand and the outcome. I stayed calm, paid exactly for my dish plus a tip, and stood up to leave. I said I thought meeting old friends was for fun, not for paying for everyone. Since then, I was removed from the group chat. No one replied to my messages anymore. Kelly even sent me a private message. "We're all disappointed in you. Didn't expect you to be like this." The aftermath and my thoughts. A few weeks later, Tina, a friend in the group, messaged me. "I actually disagree with splitting evenly too, but I was afraid to speak up." That message made me feel less alone. I realized many in the group disagreed, but were too afraid to say anything. The lesson about boundaries and self-worth. We're often taught to be generous to go along to keep friends. But that doesn't mean you have to sacrifice financially just to be accepted. Setting boundaries and protecting yourself is necessary. I don't regret standing up for fairness. Conclusion. I lost some friends but gained self-respect and true friends who understand me. If you face similar situations, don't hesitate to set your boundaries and say no when needed. And that wraps up today's story. Through these experiences, we not only witness the diversity and complexity of human relationships, but also gain a deeper understanding of resilience and courage, the bravery it takes to stand up for ourselves and our rights. If you've gone through similar situations or simply have a story to share, don't hesitate to leave a comment below. I truly look forward to hearing your voices and experiences because every story is a precious piece in the mosaic of life. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss the next authentic stories here on Reddit Echoes. Thank you for joining me on this journey of sharing real-life stories. See you in the next video.